Welcome to People and Planet United, Global Health and Purpose Summit, which is taking place during New York's Health Innovation Week. This summit brings together an incredible group of business leaders, NGOs and policymakers who understand that health and sustainability are deeply connected. Today's conversations will focus on bold ideas, breakthrough innovations, and real collaborations that drive progress for both human and planetary health. The panel now is harnessing digital technologies to drive innovation in life sciences. My panelists include Rachel Shelly, Global Head of Life Sciences and Food at IDA Ireland, Neasa McNabola, Senior Scientific Advisor at IDA Ireland, and Beulah Keegan, Digital Site Head at Sanofi Waterford. Welcome all. Could I ask each of you to provide a short introduction of yourselves? Rachel, we'll start with you.
Thanks very much, Terry. Great to be with you and looking forward to the discussion today. So my name is Rachel Shelly. I head up our life sciences business within IDA Ireland. So just for your viewers, IDA Ireland is the investment promotion agency for the Irish government. As an English-speaking country and a long-standing member of the EU, Ireland is very much a gateway to Europe and beyond for international companies. So our role at IDA is to help global companies to establish operations in Ireland, and when they are established, to partner with them for long-term successful operations that create value for their businesses. Our portfolio spans about 1,800 global multinational companies from all over the world, across the life sciences, technology, engineering, and international financial services sectors. We're delighted to be with you today, and we'll hand over to Beulah for an introduction. Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel. My name is Beulah Keegan. I am the digital site head here at the Sanofi manufacturing plant in Waterford in Ireland. And thanks, Rachel, for inviting me to speak today. The IDA is one of our partners here in Ireland, and that is great collaboration with Sanofi Waterford. So I'm looking forward to the discussion.
So I'm Neasa McNabola. I'm a senior scientific advisor for the pharma division in IDA. My background is chemistry. I have a PhD in organic and medicinal chemistry, and my role within the IDA is to help support companies on their R&D journey, whether that's tying into the ecosystem here or through R&D grants.
Wonderful. Welcome all. Rachel, we'll start with you if that's okay. Could you provide an overview of IDA Ireland's role in supporting global life sciences companies in navigating the new digital world?
Absolutely, Terry. So I suppose just to give a little bit of context, you know, the life sciences sector in Ireland comprises about 13 of the top 15 pharma companies in the world and about 14 of the top 15 medical technology companies in the world. And they've built out operations in Ireland, many with multiple sites here. Most of those companies have been in Ireland for decades and have expanded and evolved their operations over time. And that's really on the back of Ireland's reputation for manufacturing excellence, our strong regulatory track record, and our capacity for innovation and research and development. So, for example, the pharma sector, you know, would have started with a strong base of small molecule operations. But over the last decade, we've had huge growth in the biologics space, and more recently now towards advanced therapies. Life sciences companies are predominantly manufacturing here in Ireland for global supply, but many have services operations as well and are also carrying out R&D in their manufacturing processes and developing drugs and indeed medical devices. So at IDA Ireland, you know, we recognise the opportunity and also the challenge that comes with digital disruption and digital technology, and whether that's the integration of automation and robotics or the application of AI, machine learning, and then, you know, what do you do with all of this data? So these are real opportunities that we're working with our clients on, but also real challenges for companies to get to grips with. So, you know, from a manufacturing perspective, at a national level, to help address some of these challenges, government has funded the establishment of Digital Manufacturing Ireland, or DMI, which is a centre of excellence which works with life sciences and engineering and technology companies to help them to accelerate their adoption of new technology into their manufacturing operations. And that's really there to help drive efficiency from a production and manufacturing perspective, but also to create flexibility and capacity within our manufacturing operations that really drives that next wave of quality, innovation, and indeed speed to market, which is critically important for companies in the life sciences industry. DMI is also partnering with companies to really help them address human-centric manufacturing, the challenges that come with, thinking about the workforce of the future. The second national centre that IDA has led out in terms of establishing on behalf of government is NIBRT, which is our National Institute for Biopharma Research and Training. And NIBRT is partnering with global pharma companies, particularly in the biologic space, to really help them build out the skills and technologies and processes to digitise the biologics process to, again, accelerate that innovation and commercialisation of biologic drugs. So that's what's happening at sort of a government level. And from a technology and innovation perspective, then, we have Research Ireland, which is the equivalent of the NSF in the US, funds that early stage research and principal investigators across a whole range of data science, AI, and governance sectors as well. So we're seeing, manufacturing support through the national centres like NIBRT and DMI, and then at an academic research perspective through national centres like ADAPT and Insight on the AI side through Research Ireland. And then at an industry level, IDA as an agency, our focus is very much around working with and partnering with our clients around a number of pillars that help them to drive that digital transformation. And the transformation enables, for us, it's about enabling competitiveness and flexibility and agility in the manufacturing environment, but also that capacity for innovation. So from in the first instance, we help our companies with training and upskilling so that we can build out the current and future skills required to really accelerate the use of new technologies and build that innovation capability. And second of all, we also, as Neasa has set out, we also support the research and development activity of our clients. So we help companies to define projects, we help our companies to develop partnerships and collaboration opportunities, and then we also support companies as they make those investments towards those R&D initiatives.
Thank you. And collaboration and partnership do seem to be part of the Ireland story, the IDA Ireland story. So can you talk us through a little bit more on those partnerships?
Absolutely. So, one of the key things in relation to the way the research community works in Ireland and those national centres that I set out work in Ireland, they're very, very industry focused. So, when we look at research and development, we will absolutely have fundamental and early stage research that's looking at the next generation of technologies and the application of those technologies. We also have a very practical approach to research in terms of helping companies to adopt new technologies, commercialize technologies, and scale those technologies. So collaboration is at the core of that, both built into the research centres and their tech transfer teams and their researchers that work directly with industry, but also in terms of how government supports innovation. So it's funded directly through agencies like IDA, but also we have programs like a Disruptive Technologies Innovation Fund, which is actually a fund that was built out by the Irish government to support collaboration between multinational companies, SMEs and Indigenous companies, and indeed academic centres. So, we've got lots of mechanisms to bring companies together, for business to business collaborative projects, as well as business to academia projects as well, and funding mechanisms all across that spectrum.
Fascinating, thank you. Neasa, so just touching on technology, how are you using technology to increase innovation in IDA Ireland?
So I think within the healthcare sector, we've already kind of seen technology having a big impact on how we approach health and wellness. And we're at a stage now with advancements in AI where we're kind of at another early period of disruptive or transformation. And the use of AI is really going to lead to more far-reaching changes in how we do live and work. If I were to think about how technology is impacting our clients or the health industry, I think really the first big one is around the move to a more patient or person-centric approach So we're now collecting vast amounts of additional data from, say, wearable devices, from community medicine, like even digitization of healthcare in terms of the community and in hospitals, means we're really utilizing big data sets in a way that we've never done in the past. And when you power that with AI and machine learning, you really are delivering valuable insights and a better understanding of health on an individual basis. So I know some like really interesting work that's been going on recently around models for disease progression, predicting illness, and that means that we can intervene earlier and have better outcomes for patients, reducing down the likelihood of chronic illness. And again, that has huge impacts, not only on the person level, but also in terms of our ecosystem in our hospitals. So then when you pair that with advancements in the likes of genomics, personalized medicine, not to mention advanced therapeutics under development, like your cell therapies, gene therapies, antibody drug conjugates, like these are really transforming patients' lives. I think if I was going to neatly kind of summarize where I see biggest impacts, it is around that improved patient outcome, whether that's advanced diagnostics, continuous monitoring, those personalized treatments. We have better accessibility for patients now through things like healthcare apps and telemedicine. Cost efficiency is huge. It's not just about that earlier intervention. It's also around operational excellence and cutting out unnecessary wasted time that can now be automated using these tools. And finally, and this is the big one, and it's one that I think is really exciting, and it's around enhanced research. So using AI in discovery, in diagnostics, and again, in things like manufacturing, supply chain. I just think there's huge opportunity there. And in the next 5 to 10 years, I think it's only going to become more and more powerful as these technologies develop.
You talk on AI and advanced research. So can you talk to me a little bit about what you're hearing on the ground from customers, what the challenges they're facing, and how IDA Ireland is able to support them with future opportunities?
Yeah, so I think there's probably 2 main points there. So the first is, we'll say, around the data itself. So like information is powerful, but data is only as good as it is meaningful. So, you know, when companies are coming on this journey of looking to implement AI and digitize their processes, you know, like they need to think about things like, do you have a roadmap in place? How are you structuring your data? Things like this, you know, like that will make the process much smoother. At IDA Ireland, we do support companies on their digital journey, but we also tie them into the ecosystem. So I know Rachel has already mentioned, we have DMI, but we have a wider ecosystem here, and that's really detailed expertise in terms of Irish Indigenous companies and also in other research and gateway centres as well. So I really think that's kind of an important role, especially when companies are trying to speed into delivery and speed implementation. You can't be an expert in everything. So leverage your network, leverage your ecosystem, and get out there and talk to the people who can help you solve your problems faster.
Beulah, over to you. So could you just talk us through the journey of Sanofi Waterford in terms of the digital transformation and the positive work that you've been doing to date?
For sure. Here at Sanofi Waterford, we have been selected and are proud to be a digital lighthouse for Sanofi. In being a digital lighthouse, it kind of leads the company's transformation in digital by embracing data-driven manufacturing, strengthening our digital infrastructure. And through all of this, we've significantly improved efficiency, quality, agility here at the site. We've built our digital journey and transformation journey probably on, say, 3 pillars. 1, enhancing our digital capabilities by upskilling our people, supplying innovative digital solutions, and all the digital capabilities that we have here at the Sanofi Waterford site. The results to date speak for themselves. We've improved our operations. We have huge, stronger employee engagement through our digital technology, and we increased transparency across the site and within the network. It all ultimately refers back to boost the performance here at the Waterford site, but reinforces the overall Sanofi mission, which is to chase the miracle of science to improve people's lives. So ultimately to deliver treatments to our patients quicker.
And we have a global audience here today. So can you talk me through why Waterford for an international audience?
I suppose why Waterford. One, we are a strategic site for Sanofi within the network. We have, a digital workforce here at Sanofi in Waterford that is very skilled in the digital technology. We're probably more advanced than some of our other Sanofi sites in our infrastructure and digital landscapes. And I suppose when you look at the Digital Lighthouse programme, the vision is to build a future ready-made manufacturing network where we bring all our people together in Sanofi for cutting-edge tech here. The ambition of the Digital Lighthouse here in Waterford obviously is to achieve top decile performance as a site, and the products that we manufacture here in Waterford, we manufacture one of Sanofi's top products called Dupixent. Here, so really we want to be able to achieve the top decile performance for the products that we manufacture, but also build digital solutions here that can be scaled rapidly within our network and improve, obviously, the Sanofi user experience through digital. I suppose, and being a digital lighthouse, the aim of that I know Waterford is to be recognised as part of the World Economic Forum, the Global Lighthouse Network, which would highlight Sanofi in Waterford as a leadership in digital industrial transformation. And that's where we're aiming for over the coming years.
Could you just talk us through a little bit more about what that looks like in the next couple of years?
In the next couple of years, I suppose there's big steps for Sanofi in terms of digital. For me, it's all about scaling the use of generative AI, and that is in our digital strategy for Sanofi. We're aiming to become the first biopharma company powered by AI at scale, which is a really bold ambition to have. So ultimately, we're looking to half the time it takes from discovery of a product to actually the therapy of the product. And it's a major leap forward from our Industry 4.0 foundations. And we're evolving into much more advanced capabilities. So the integration of generative AI across the entire value chain, not just in R&D, where it will help accelerate drug discovery, but also the use within our manufacturing, where it will help us to optimize our processes, predict maintenance needs at sites like Waterford. We also have a Digital Tomorrow program, which is building on seamless data ecosystem, which were connected, which used to be very siloed operation, allowing us, to be more streamlined, to make faster and informed decisions that we need to make on a daily basis. I suppose for me personally, what's really exciting isn't just about the technology here in Waterford. Technologies will never replace people. To me, they're about enhancing the human capabilities that we have here. The human-centric approach fits perfectly with the principles of the likes of Industry 5.0, where the focus is not just on implementing technology for the sake, but how it can empower the people to have the greater impact. Here at Waterford, what we've done to date, we're seeing this translate into more meaningful work for our teams as the routine tasks that they used to do has now become automated. And it's freeing up our people to focus on higher value activities for the site. And these higher activities require that human creativity and judgment. And to me, that's the really exciting part of digital transformation.
Yes, because you hear the headlines, don't you? Robots are going to take over our jobs, but that's not the case.
We have a saying here at Sanofi, AI will never replace people, but people without AI will be replaced with people with AI. So again, this is where the upskilling comes into play with our people. We're upskilling them with the skills that they will need for the digital transformation journey. And again, you know, as Rachel alluded to, we have partnered with the likes of DMI in Ireland, the Digital Manufacturer in Ireland. They have been a great partner association. You know, we'll never, you know, digital transformation, I know here in Waterford, has been powered by a strong ecosystem of its partners. You know, only innovation is possible through collaboration with partners such as the IDA, DMI, specialist vendors delivering the cutting edge technologies of AI, IoT, you know, local universities for research, and then upcoming the talent pipeline here in Ireland. And not only that, it's cross-industry exchanges, you know, that you can see different perspectives and best practices within pharma, but also beyond pharma. So to me, these collaborations have not just enhanced their digital capabilities, but it's the culture of the fostered open innovation between us all, and having those external insights with our internal expertise. You know, this is what's helping us evolve and develop the solutions that we need to meet all of the demands of a pharma manufacturing, but critically still while upholding the high standards of quality and compliance that we have to meet.
Fantastic, thank you. Neasa, I'll ask you a question. How do you use digital technologies? How are you seeing those impacting life sciences in the future? Can you talk on any trends, challenges, opportunities that you see coming down the road in the next 2 to 5 years?
Yeah, so I'll start out by saying, like, the breadth of opportunities here is immense. I think a couple of key areas where I think there's going to be huge growth, and I think it's going to be really impactful, kind of starts out again on that AI for discovery piece. So around molecule design, protein design, all the way through then through diagnostics. So, you know, AI models can now review like human tissue samples and identify anomalies or detect potential issues there. We're looking at it in clinical trials, whether that's around trial design, implementation, earlier insights into data, and all the way through then to manufacturing. So just building on what Beulah had said, like, you know, autonomous factories will eventually get there. I think right now we're still a little bit away from that, but it is like huge in terms of capabilities around control and information and knowledge of your process, and ultimately the quality of what's being delivered at the end of that. So look, I think the opportunities are immense. Are there challenges? Yes. I think we've touched on a few of them there around making sure you're tied into your ecosystem, making sure you have the right talent. So like the changes are happening quickly. So is your talent pipeline ready to adopt in these skills and the background knowledge that you need to adopt additional tools to help you for these new jobs of the future? Are you upskilling your existing workforce? I think it's also pretty important that given the sector that we're in, there's a good understanding of where regulatory bodies are going to go with this as well. So those I think would be kind of the key things. So making sure you're tied in with your network, your talent has been considered, and you have a strategy and a roadmap around your regulatory elements.
Beulah, picking up on that point, so the Sanofi strategy, what are the next big things that we should be watching out for Sanofi when it comes to digital?
We have a Digital Tomorrow 2030 strategy, and that would be aligned with the Sanofi's overarching corporate vision, you know, about accelerating at pace, which will deliver breakthrough science to patients. You know, we've set very clear ambitions that we are going to try to aim to allocate 50% of our digital resources to innovation, to half the time from discovery to therapy, using it digital as the accelerator for that. And ultimately, as I said, to become the first biopharma company powered AI at scale. And we have taken huge leaps. You know, we're in 2025 now. Our vision is the 2030. As Neasa said, you know, we have our digital strategy, we have our digital roadmap, we have our plan in place, we have a structured framework, and now it's to do the execution of it. So I'm very positive, and I feel we will definitely get there with the approach that we're taking. So we're leapfrogging into the future.
Fantastic, fantastic. Rachel, I will ask you one final question. So IDA launched its 5-year strategy earlier this year. Can you just talk us through the headlines for that and what the next 5 years looks like for IDA and its partners?
Sure, perfect. You know, the ecosystem, as we talked about in Ireland, you know, has a very rich base of that early and applied research centres we've spoken about that work closely with pharma, medtech, big tech, AI and technology, and are really, you know, engaged and proactively collaborating with industry around some of the topics we've discussed. But importantly as well, you know, we have a pro-business government environment here that encourages and supports innovation. I think that's critically important as we go back to some of the points that Neasa and Beulah were talking about in terms of the ecosystem and the ability to be able to lean into new technologies, leverage the opportunities, but also manage the challenges which can be there in relation to having the right talent in place and indeed the right capability to adopt these new technologies and scale them at speed. You know, at IDA, when we look across the broad base of life sciences companies that are based here, you know, we've 100,000 people employed in life sciences here in Ireland, and there's over 100,000 people employed in our technology base here. So that's everything from, you know, data related operations through to cyber, through to network, through to AI and big data and enterprise software development. So everything from platforms through to security across the entire talent pool here, including as well semicon. So we've, you know, electrical and electronic engineering capabilities. So the systems that sit around the technology that sits around the sector and is getting increasingly embedded in the sector with very deep expertise here. So we would see, you know, substantial opportunities for collaboration across all of the areas that Beulah and Neasa have spoken about. You know, that smarter manufacturing, that more personalised approach to medicines and devices, and indeed the diagnostics of conditions at an earlier stage. And then also, you know, as we look at the whole area of, you know, managing the innovation cycle, accelerating that through development and discovery and commercialization using technology. So we think that all of the raw materials are there in terms of the talent pool that's here, the business environment that's here in terms of the approach of the research community and industry and how they currently work together and the opportunity to do more in that space. All of that underpinned by a strong commitment from government to support innovation into the future. So when we developed and launched our strategy earlier this year, it's called Adapt Intelligently, and really does reflect, you know, an ambitious approach to what is an increasingly fast changing and very, very dynamic global environment that we're in. So, you know, some of the drivers that we would have identified when we developed our strategy was that growth and transition towards digitalization and AI, as we've spoken about, the increasing focus at a global level around sustainability and the need for climate change to be supported through collaboration with industry, And indeed then looking at, you know, growth and changes across both the health sector and the semiconductor sector. So these are the big sort of global macro developments that are happening and are impacting lots of different sectors. So for us, as we look at those growth drivers and how they interface with the life sciences sector, you know, we set out our ambition through that context. So it's very much around helping companies to drive that smart, sustainable manufacturing agenda, as we've spoken about. You know, so digitized manufacturing environments by their nature are leaner, more efficient, more agile, and more sustainable for the long term, not just from the planet's perspective, but also sustainable as you know, as manufacturing facilities, which is really important when you need global resilient supply chains. The second piece then is really supporting that cutting edge research and innovation agenda and really helping companies to grow the scope and scale and ambition of their R&D for the benefit of their organizations and also for the benefit of patients. So that's a big piece for us. And then helping to develop and adopt those sustainable business practices. And we're doing a lot of work with our clients to help them on their climate change journeys. But very, very importantly, and as Neasa and Beulah both spoken about, you know, this is also about continuing to invest in the world-class talent and skills that are required to really, really help companies to realize those opportunities. Because, you know, regardless of what environment you're in, if you don't have a workforce that is agile, that is capable to take that step up and that transition and embrace new technologies, and you have an environment that supports the development of future skills, it's challenging for the long term. So we're trying to create an environment that supports that education and skills piece, but also create the practical supports through the centres, through our own support and the partnership with industry to really ensure that Ireland can continue to provide the workforce and the talent and the innovation capability for companies that are based here, and help them, as I say, to create those next gen medicines, those next gen devices that are going to, you know, help to improve patients' lives around the world. So that's very much our focus, you know, over the next 5 years as part of our strategy, and where we see the sector moving, you know, where technology will play a greater role, data will play a greater role, but it's how you use the data and how you use the technology and how you bring your workforce with you in that journey will be critically important. So, you know, that's why we're prioritising innovation, skills development, and really encouraging our companies and partnering with our companies to enhance their focus on digitalisation to create that agility and capacity within their business environments.
Fantastic. The amount of talent, innovation, data, partnerships are coming through in each of your sessions. So thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And we'll be moving on to the next panel in a moment.
Thanks, Terry.
Thanks, Terry.